This video will outline how to edit the course navbar, which is this white strip right here. And this, the navbar includes links to most of the major tools within the VLE, so this is really a central hub for you and your students that you're going to be using quite often. So the first thing to note about the navbar is, depending on the screen you're viewing it on, it could be slightly different. In that if you're viewing it on a smaller screen like a netbook, you may only see the first 5 or 6 icons, and what it will do is it will push the other ones down to the second row. In order to see the second row, you just have to press this down arrow and it'll open up and you'll be able to see the second row, or your students. And if you have a number of icons that you're using, you can actually have a third row within the navbar icon too. If you're viewing this on a really widescreen monitor, it may actually display all of the icons all on one row and you would never need to use this. So it really is dependent on the device being used. The other important thing to note is some of these icons are role specific. Notably, some of them are teacher view only, so only the teacher will view the icon. A good example within this navbar right here is Edit Course and Portfolio. These are both teacher-specific icons that only you as the teacher sees. For obvious reasons, you don't want your students to be able to see Edit Course, so it's restricted only to you. If you ever wanted to see what your students are able to view, it's really simple. You just come up to this button right here, click here, and you want to view as student. If you need to change it because it says view as teacher or some other role, you just press change and click on it. But mine's correctly set to view as student. I'm going to click, and you're going to notice that Edit Course and Portfolio will disappear because I'm now seeing it from the role of a student. So this is instead what they will see. So it's just a great way to toggle in and out of roles just to make sure you understand what your students are able to view. Now by default, this is the navbar that you get with all course shells K to 12. It could be different from this video as we change things over time, but in general, these are the major tools that we felt could be used by the most number of people, so that's why they were chosen. But it is completely customizable. So in order to customize your navbar, just hover over it and these 3 dots in the top right corner will show up. Click on that and then go to customize this navbar. You're automatically gonna get this pop-up, and you'll get this every time in every new course shell. All it's asking is, can it make a copy of this template so that you are actually able to copy it? So when you press yes, all it does is make a copy of it within this shell so that you are able to then make edits and changes. So just hit yes, and you're gonna go into the Navbar Editor. And it's a pretty simple process. For this, let's say it's a grade 10 academic English class, and I'm gonna use the assignments tool pretty extensively for how I'm gonna get my students to hand in work digitally to me. Because I want it for like the originality check. I'm not going to use portfolio tool at all in this course. So in this instance, it doesn't make sense that it's in the navbar for this course. So in order to get rid of an icon, you just need to hover over it, and the little X shows up when you do that. Hit the X and it will disappear. You can also change around the order of these icons as well. So let's say Office 365, it's one I'm going to be using pretty extensively in my English class. I want it to be front and center. I want it to be one of the first icons. As a general rule, no matter what screen they're using, usually the first 4 or 5 icons are always going to show up. So I want Office 365 to be there. In order to move it, all you need to do is hover over it, right click, and hold. Or if you're on a mouse pad, just on your trackpad, just basically click and hold, and then you're able to, I'm still holding, I'm able to move it. So let's say I move it right here. Once the line is about where you want it, you release the mouse or trackpad, and it will put it in its place, and then bump down whatever the last icon was. And you can move these around as much as you wish. But as I said, the top 5 are going to be the ones you see. And again, the students don't see this, so it's actually going to be, these 5 for sure that they see as your top 5. Lastly, you can add a link as well. So there are a number of navbar links that we've created in Grand Erie, as well as D2Ls created across the platform. So in order to do that, just go down to Add Links, click there, And you can explore the pretty extensive number of different tools available to you and your students. In this case, I know I'm going to be using quizzes in this class quite a bit, so I want to add the quizzes tool so that students can access those quizzes easily. All I have to do is just press the search button. It is in alphabetical order, but this time I actually know what tool I want. I press quiz, it'll search, there it is. In order to add it to this navbar, I just click the little checkbox beside it, click add, and it will then add it to my navbar. And because I know I'm going to be using this pretty extensively, I'm going to put it as one of the top ones up there. Okay, and at that point, I now have my navbar ready to go. The last feature I wanted to show you is just this little toggle right here. There is a way to actually switch on and off the icons. So if you just want text to appear, you want to click there, and then it will just display the text. And some teachers like that because it ends up making the navbar a lot. The navbar can take up a lot of real estate on the course landing page. In this case, it kind of shrinks it a little bit. In general, the icon-based navbars are recommended for accessibility purposes, notably for students who are visually impaired. So I'm going to keep it clicked, and at that point, my navbar is edited the way I want. I press save and close, and it will automatically make those changes, and there we have it. So it's moved the icons where I wanted them, it's added the quizzes tool, I no longer see portfolio, and if I ever want to go in and do that again, I just go back up here, go to Add Navbar, and I can make further changes from there.